Okay. Why is it that things mess up? I don't know. But anyway, now listen, if you're already signed up, you are in the right place. Man, this mini conference I'm very excited about. It's going to be a great time. This episode is going to give you a little preview, like an appetizer of the juicy, practical, and transformational tools that we'll go deeper into at the conference. So the early bird ticket price are still available. So go ahead today. There is a link in the description box for you to get your tickets. And there is a VIP option, and you want to take advantage of that. So if you haven't signed up yet, by the end of today's episode, you're going to know why you cannot afford to miss it. Because here's the truth. Communication isn't just a skill. I mean, it is a skill, but it's the heartbeat of your relationship. If you and your spouse or your future spouse don't understand each other's communication styles, you're constantly going to miss each other. And that's going to lead to frustration, disconnection, and unnecessary conflict. If you've been with me and this channel for any period of time, you remember that video of how to overcome or eliminate unnecessary conflicts. Well, we're digging a little bit deeper into that today. But when you do understand each other's communication differences, you both give and receive information. It's like finally getting the keys to unlock a thrilling, thriving, joy-filled, godly marriage. And that's what you want. You want a marriage that's healthy, that's full of love, that brings you contentment, a marriage that brings your spouse contentment, a marriage that is the foundation of your family, and ultimately glorifies God. All righty? So grab your notebook, lean in. It's about to get good. Okay? Okay? You got your notebook? You got something to drink? You're going to be with me for the next 20 minutes. All right? Let's get it. So we think that most couples fight about money, about how to raise kids, about intimacy. But really what it is they're fighting about communication. They're missing one another. So I guess we can say the lack of communication, because you can talk back and forth to one another, but are you communicating? You've heard it before. It's not what you said, it's how you said it. That is so very important. So we're going to understand communication styles. And why should we do that? Because they help us do two important things. Number one, they recognize what we naturally default to. When you understand communication style, you recognize what we, as in yourself and your partner, naturally default to. When we're stressed and when we're trying to get our point across. So, we're always trying to get our point across. Okay, so that's like a constant. It's your default. And when you're stressed, it's what you're going to go to, right? And number two, why is it important to understand communication styles? Because you can learn how to adapt and shift toward a healthier pattern so your message is actually heard and understood. Okay? So let's break it down. There are four main communication styles. Now I knew two, but I wasn't thinking about the other ones. Passive and aggressive. I knew those two. And then there's passive aggressive. I learned that after having children. And then there is assertive. I've only seen this in a couple of other, relationships. So that is the four main types: passive, its opposite aggressive, passive aggressive, and assertive. I'm going to give you a description of each style. I'm going to let you know the strength and weakness of each style and a healthy alternative if that is your particular default. Okay, ready? All right. Now, we're going to start with passive communication. I want to say this is probably my default because it's when someone avoids expressing that. Well, I don't avoid expressing my thought. I kind of like just throw it out there. But anyway, passive communication is when you usually avoid expressing your thoughts, your feelings, and your needs because you want to keep the peace. You don't want to rock the boat. You don't want the conflict. You don't want the smoke, right? Why is this a good thing? Why, what are the strengths of passive communication? Well, passive communicators are often seen as agreeable, as flexible, and easygoing. You want an easygoing person, right? They rarely escalate conflict in the moment. And that's the key phrase, in the moment. So, what is the weakness for passive communication? Man, their needs go unmet because they don't speak up. Because they're keeping the peace, they're not saying anything, and their need is going unmet. It also builds resentment over time. If your needs constantly are not being met, you're kind of mad at the person who's supposed to be meeting those needs for you, right? So when it finally does come out, oh my gosh, it's an explosion. So let me give you an example of what passive communication looks like. Imagine a wife who doesn't like how her husband spends money. Okay. Instead of saying, babe, can we make a budget together? And here's a little side hint, don't say budget. Spending plan goes over much better. Words matter. So the wife says, babe, can we make a spending plan together? Instead of her saying that, although she's bothered by the way he's spending money, she just stays quiet, she sighs, and then she hopes he'll figure it out. Weeks later, she blows up doing a random disagreement. And he's wondering, like, why is she so mad about this little bitty thing? It's not actually that little bitty thing you're talking about. It's because she has built up resentment over the way he has spent the money. And in this disagreement, she says, you never think about our future. He's like, what? He is totally taken aback because he has not understood her passive communication style. So you see the problem? By not addressing how she really feels about his spending up front, things snowballed and now it's escalating. And when you're mad and you got some stuff pent up, I'm sorry, y'all. A mosquito bit me yesterday and it is eating me alive, right? When some things have been bothering you and you have pushed it down and pushed it down, and they did that one thing again, and the explosion is just outlandish. That explosion, though, could jeopardize your relationship, right? I mean, isn't that the climax of every TV series? The guy and girl are getting together and this and that, and there's got to be some type of argument, and that argument is a make or break argument, and they have to decide if they're going to put in the work to actually have a relationship or they break up, right? So that's what this is passive communication. So what is a healthy alternative? If you find yourself in this position, if you're like, Tanisha, that is me. I do not like conflict. I don't want to rock the boat. I don't want the smoke. So I don't always say what I'm feeling. I don't always say when things are bothering me. What do I do? So instead of the silence, practice short, respectful, loving statements. So instead of saying, um, instead of being silent, say, hey, let's sit down this weekend and go over our spending. It's important to me. Two simple, straightforward sentences have taken you from passive to the gold standard of communication styles. Okay. And I'm holding that word back because it's number 4. Did I tell you already? I don't know. Keep listening. It's simple, it's clear, it's respectful. And by saying it's important to me, it's kind of like alerting your partner that this is important. This is vital. This means something. You know, it's saying I need to speak to you, right? All right. Let's go to the opposite of passive communication, aggressive. What is aggressive communication? Okay? Let's talk about it. This is when someone tries to dominate the conversation. They use loud tones, harsh words, and even sarcasm to win the argument. I'm going to stop right there and plug a note, right? If you are a subscriber of the Strong Marriage Live podcast, or you are a member of Strong Marriage on Facebook, you know what I'm going to say right here, right? You're not here to win an argument. Why? Because you're on the same team. What does it look like if this is for my husband because he's not here today? But what does it look like if the Baltimore Ravens are playing the Steelers, the Pittsburgh Steelers, and the Ravens are on the sideline having an argument and they're going in on each other? Then they go onto the field and instead of tackling the Steelers, they tackled one another. And what's his name? Marshawn gets up. Is that the right name? I don't know. My husband's not here. Don't tell him. That one guy who, is just a beast in tackling. I think I said Marshawn Lynch. And no, I didn't mean him. I meant the other guy. But anyway. Now, this would be the episode my husband tunes into because I'd have messed up the little players' names. But anyway, the guy on the Ravens team that is like a beast tackling. He's like a deer in headlights. Boom. You're in his way, you're down. Okay. And it's going to hurt too. But what if it looks like if he stands up and says, yeah, I won. I tackled the best. But you tackled your own player. That's stupid, right? That is what a couple looks like when they are winning the argument by any means necessary. We don't do that. No, we do not. We win by remembering that we are on the same team. And so the Ravens don't get upset with each other and tackle one another. They are going to tackle the Steelers. So if someone is trying to dominate the conversation, they're using all kinds of harsh words and all that stuff, this person is an aggressive communicator. What is the strength in this particular communication style? Well, no one has to guess what they want and what they mean because they are saying it, okay? They can take charge in high stress situations. It's no big deal for them. But what is the obvious weakness? It's going to shut everybody down, okay? Excuse me. Instead of solving the problem, it creates fear, resentment, and defensiveness. Who's going to want to talk to this person? I don't want to communicate with you. Over time, it erodes intimacy. This is not intimacy. This is No, love cannot thrive in this atmosphere. So, what's an example of an aggressive communication style? A husband comes home and says, "Ooh, been there. Why is this house always a mess? What do you even do all day?" Oh my gosh. Do not say that to a stay at home mom, please. Okay? That's not communication. That's an attack. Okay? So, what is a healthy alternative? I was going to say get another communication style. No, you want to switch from accusations to request. Hey, love, I'm feeling overwhelmed to all the clutter. Can we come up with a system together to keep things tidier? Man, you know what that says to your wife, to your partner? Well, if you're coming home to a house, it better be your wife. Um, it says, I care about you and we're in this together. There's something that's bothering me. How can we come up with something to help both of us? Okay. The difference, it doesn't tear down. It invites teamwork. It invites you to feel what I'm feeling. And that's the goal of communication. Communication is to get a point across so that your partner can put him or herself in your shoes so they can understand what are you feeling? What are you thinking? What are your emotions right now? How can I help you? How can I serve you? Because ultimately, marriage is service. How we serve each other. How do we become this awesome team, right?
Hey, are you still shacking up with me? I'm just kidding. I'm not really more. But hey, I just want to take a moment to make sure your life is not wobbling and topsy-turvy just because you haven't subscribed. Just stop what you're doing right now while you're looking and just hit that subscribe button. I really appreciate it. And I hope you're here to get all the notes you can take so that you can have a healthy relationship. All right? Go ahead and hit that button. Now back to the show.
So we've talked about passive and aggressive styles. And now we're going to add those two together and talk about passive aggressive communication style. This one is sneaky. It's when someone appears agreeable on the outside but shows their frustration indirectly. Think sarcasm. Think the silent treatment. Um, think little digs that say one thing but mean another. So, what is the strength for this particular um, communication style? It avoids outright conflict in that moment. You know, it softens the tension in the air with the humor in the sarcasm or however they deliver it, but it usually backfires. Um, so the weaknesses for this particular communication style is that it's going to confuse your partner. They're not going to know which way you really feel. They're unsure about what you really think and feel in this situation. It creates mistrust. Ooh, you don't want that. We're trying to build trust in a relationship, not creating mistrust. And it breaks down honest connection. So you're not going to get the intimacy that you desire. And for those of us who are married, it's very important to remember that if there is no intimacy outside of the bedroom, there will be no intimacy inside the bedroom. Okay? Can I say that again? So let me give you an example of a passive aggressive communication style. A wife may say, "Oh, sure, go out with your friends again. Don't worry about me. I'll just sit here alone like always." This is not communication. This is guilt tripping a little bit. I'll just sit here like always, like, oh, woe is me. No. What's a healthy alternative to someone who has this type of communication style? Be direct and not sarcastic. Remember, we have to speak to our loved ones with love. I just posted on my Threads account yesterday. Go follow me. That almost like, a spoonful of sugar makes the medicine go down. So I said, coat your message with love so that it can be received and benefit the person who's receiving it. So your healthy alternative is, hey, babe, I'd love if we can spend some quality time together this weekend or tonight, whenever this going out with the boys is supposed to happen. Can we plan a date night? So say what you want. I want time with you. I don't want you to go to the club or whatever. I'm thinking of back in the day. This was one of me and Chris's fights. Um, he still wanted to go out with the boys, at the club. And I'm like, your boys ain't married. They're not thinking like you thinking. Well, we got kids at the time. Yeah, at the time we had the two boys, and I was pregnant with our first daughter. And one of his buddies, I'm not going to say his name, but he was the best man at the wedding. Watch, he's going to watch this episode. Yeah, I'm talking about you. He called him and wanted him to go out with him that night. Bro, no. It's no clubbing for us. We got kids. We Christians. We going to church tomorrow. That's a no. Yes. So that was a fight. But instead of me, I can't remember what I just said no. It wasn't no. I didn't go to the passive communication then. It was aggressive communication. No, don't do it. So we want to be assertive, but how? And I just told you, you have to coat your message in love. So the fifth way to communicate is the gold standard, baby. It's A++. If the Better Business Bureau had to rate it, honey, it would get all the stars, okay? If you were leaving a Google review or Amazon or Facebook review for assertive communication style, you would give it 5 stars, okay? This is when you express your needs, your thoughts, and your feelings clearly, respectfully, and lovingly, while also listening to your spouse's perspective. Man, if you're not married right now, this is like gold for you. I wish I had known this stuff before I got married. How to really communicate with somebody, how to build that intimacy. I probably would have 10 kids if we knew all this. So assertive communication is expressing your needs, your thoughts, and your feelings clearly, respectfully, and lovingly, while you also listen to what your spouse has to say about it. Because when you're married, it's not about you. You're a team. What are the strengths of this type of communication style? It builds trust and intimacy. I mean, it is the gold standard. It balances honesty with kindness. We always hear honesty is the best policy. And I know a lot of people like, well, I told the truth. Tell the truth, shame the devil. But when you speak that truth, is it coated in love? Okay? Balance your honesty with kindness. It's also solution focused, not blame focused. So when you're saying something, you're going to offer up a solution. You're not just going to like blame someone. What's the weakness? If this is the gold standard, what's the weakness with this communication style? The weakness is us. It takes practice. We have to learn how to do it. Especially if you're used to being passive or aggressive, it's very uncomfortable at first. So that's the weakness. It's us having to practice it. That's the weakness. So here's an example. A husband says, I feel hurt when I plan dinner and you cancel last minute. Can we talk about how to handle our schedules better? And you see how it was solution focused? Can we talk about how to handle our schedules better? Because if you know that I'm going to be late all the time, well, maybe I don't have dinner ready at 5. Maybe I have it ready at 6. Or maybe I only choose, we choose one day where I'm going to make sure on Friday I'm going to get home at 5. So have dinner ready at 5 so that, we're ready to eat together at 5. But it invites teamwork, it invites cooperation, it invites collaboration, it invites intimacy, it invites you to work together. Teamwork makes the dream work. Okay, so let's pull this all together. Here's your takeaway. Tanisha, how do I remember these communication styles and how can I recognize them when I'm talking or when someone's talking to me? And here's what I come up with. Passive shuts down. Aggressive tears down. Passive aggressive digs around, but assertive builds up. Okay? I'm going to say that again. Passive shuts down. Aggressive tears down. Passive aggressive digs around, and assertive builds up. Don't you love my little hand movements with it? Oh my goodness. But I hope that helps you to remember when someone's talking or says something, you be like, wait a minute, did I just shut down? Did they just shut down? Okay, that's a passive uh, communication style. Okay, now I know the alternative for that. If you're talking with someone and they're tearing you down, they're aggressive. If you're talking to someone and you're like confused, you got to dig around to get meaning, that's passive aggressive. And if you felt, you know, closer, better, good after talking, that's assertive. So in a marriage, building up is the goal. Really, in any relationship, if you're dating right now and you feel like you are being built up when you talk to the person that you're dating, this is a good sign. This is a green flag. Let's keep this going. Let's talk some more. We want communication that brings us closer to each other, closer to God, closer to our dreams, closer to our goals. That's what you want. That's intimacy. That's sharing a life together. And at the mini conference, we're going to break this stuff down even further. Possibly even get into some role playing so you can see scenarios, and we'll definitely give you specific tools to practice with your spouse or with your partner and help you identify your default style so you can grow into an assertive, healthy communicator. Because when two assertive, healthy communicators communicate, there's a lot of intimacy there. Okay. So this podcast is kind of like your warm up, your prereq to the conference. And you want to come to the conference because it's going to be the deep dive. And, if my husband was here, he would tell you he loves the sale. So right now, there's an early bird special. The tickets are less expensive until September 1st. Okay, so you have until the last day of August to get the early bird ticket prices. The link to do so will be in the description box. Make sure you get your tickets today. And as I mentioned, there is a VIP experience. You want to know all about that? Click the link, and a whole I'm going to say website will appear for you and give you all the information, show you what you get with that VIP experience and all the goodies and this and that. And if you've been on Facebook, you've seen it too. Okay, it's there. All the goodies for the VIP. But the thing that I'm most excited about for this VIP experience is the Friday night Q&A. So you will have access with the panelists, the speakers. Ask them anything you want. And if you say, I want it one-on-one, let's make it happen. It could be all of you in a group as VIP, or we can do it one-on-one. It's, you let me know. But I want to give you the answers to your specific questions. What issues are keeping you up at night in your relationship? Let me go to God on your behalf and help you. A lot of times when we're in something or dealing with something, we're so close to the issue that we don't, we can't see how they say it. You don't see the forest from the trees or something like that. But basically, you're so close to it, you can't see what's really going on. But if it was your friend, you would be able to tell them, girl, you need to do A, B, and C. Or bro, you need to do one, two, and three. But because you're in it, you can't see it. So we would love to help you. We're not going to give you some crazy answers to questions or advice. It's all biblical. It's all going to be to build you up, to build up your partner, to strengthen you, to make you healthy. Nothing crazy stuff. This is not, what's those reality TV shows? It's not that. No. I have pastors who are going to be speaking, and it's not going to be holier than thou, or judgmental. It's going to be for your best interest. So get a hold of your tickets today. And as I close, what's my time? Oh, okay. Well, not bad. Not bad. Okay. Before I say my little end things that I like to say, I never want to leave a broadcast without making sure that you, the viewer, whether you're watching live or on replay, I want to make sure that you know the Jesus or the God I'm talking about. I am talking about the God of the Bible. And I tell you what, with him in my life, and especially in my marriage, it has been bliss. Now, if you've been with me anytime, you know that first year, my husband says the first 7. I'm like, what? I was busy with these children. But the first couple of years for us were hell. I mean, it was hell without the fire. It was very hot because where I lived, it was hot. But yeah, it was bad. It was really bad. But this September, we would celebrate 32 years together. And if I had to do 1 year of hell to get 31 of good years, I'd do it all over again. I mean, it is so good that I can barely remember the hell. I know it happened. I know we were in divorce court. I know we were not speaking. I know, you know, we never talked really crazy to each other, at least in front of his face. A couple of things were said, um, but I can't remember. I couldn't tell you what those things were, or who I said them to, because it's been so long ago. But I know that things happen in marriage. I know that hard times come because we're living life. And I want you to know that you can make it in Him. In God, there is peace in the midst of your troubles. Even if you're having your car repossessed, been there. I cried. We only had one car, too. When you repossess a car, how are we getting to work? If we didn't have money to pay for the car, how are we going to have money to rent a car or get a cab, or there was no Uber during that time? Yes, things are scary. There have been times where we've had injustice in our face. And the only thing that gets me through and still be a compassionate, caring person is Jesus. The only one who can heal and love you in spite of whatever you have done or thought in your life. He loves you. This morning, I sent a scripture to many of my friends, and it was about the love of God. Let me get it for you real quick. This is important. It says in Psalms chapter 103, verse 11, His love for His followers is as high above us as heaven is above the earth. God loves us so much, our brain cannot even comprehend it. For those of you who have kids, or maybe you have a niece and nephew, there's someone that's a little person that you love. And you love them deeply. You want to protect them and give them the best. We get that from God because He wants to protect us and give us the best. So much so that He took Himself and put it in flesh, Jesus, His Son. And He put that seed inside of a virgin named Mary. She gave birth. He came to earth in this limiting flesh to feel what we feel, to know what we go through. He lived life 33 and a half years. He faced betrayal, people lying on him, just people taking more money from him than they should have, people stealing from him. Anything you can think of, it happened to him. You can't say, okay, no female cheated on him because he wasn't here to date and get married because he had a mission. And I wouldn't want to stay longer than I had to stay either here. He's coming from heaven to here. What a sacrifice. But he did it to please the Father because he loves us too. He did it for us. Can you imagine offering up your child to save the earth? If it was up to me, we just all gonna die. I have 4 children. I have 5. I got one by marriage. I'm not taking any of those 5, not even the one that I didn't give birth to. I just got him for marriage. That's my son. You're not even getting him for all y'all, because I don't love you that much, but God does. So that's why I like to end every broadcast giving you an opportunity to know the God of everything you can see and don't see. He is the true God. And He's given us one way, to get to Him: Jesus, the Christ. So if you believe what I just said, you are a candidate to receive everything He has given you. And all you have to do to get it is repeat after me in a simple prayer. So let's go. Dear God, thank you for the plan of salvation. I believe your word in Romans 10, 8, 9, and 10 that says, if I believe in my heart and confess with my mouth that Jesus is Lord, I would be saved. I believe it. So I receive your gift of salvation right now. Thank you. In Jesus' name, amen. Congratulations. If you repeated that simple prayer after me, you are now my brother or sister in Christ. Please email me, mrstanishacollins@gmail.com, and let me know that you are in the kingdom. I would love to, give you some further steps. If you like, what is that email? It's in the description box. And now, back to the show. So we just talked about the 5 communication styles: passive, aggressive, and assertive. I missed one, didn't I? I missed one. Go back to your notes. No, I got it. Passive, aggressive, and assertive. That's what we want. Yes, that's 4 of them. Okay, so my question to you is, what is your default communication style? Be honest with yourself. Kind of look at, the last conversations you had. What did you say? How did you say it? Where are you in that? Be honest. And more importantly, are you willing to learn a better way? So I gave you some healthy alternatives, okay? But ultimately, we want to be assertive communicators. If you're ready, then you must be at this mini conference. Spots are limited, so don't wait. Check the show notes or the description box for the link to register today. And remember, communication isn't about winning an argument, it's about winning each other's heart every single day. All right, family. So that is it. That's all I have for you. Share this with your spouse, with your partner, your bestie, or anyone you know who wants a healthy relationship. And I'll see you at the conference, right? Okay. Because we're going to take our thing, our marriage, our relationship to the next level. So until then, you really can have the marriage of your dreams. You just have to get the tools to build it.